Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for listening. My pleasure to present BioLife Solutions. We're a public company traded on the NASDAQ. The ticker is BLFS. Please note our safe harbor statement. Okay, so for an overview, we're a bioproduction tools company based near Seattle in Bothell, Washington. We've been amassing a best-in-class portfolio of tools to help our customers, you folks in the room here, de-risk your cell and gene therapy manufacturing and delivery. I'll show you a slide later with some customer names. We've got a marquee customer base and very fortunate to have these relationships. Today, our biopreservation media products are baked into nearly 400 customer clinical applications, growing rapidly and profitable operations. In the last several quarters, we embarked on an M&A strategy. I'll talk about that in a minute. A little bit on the right side of the slide with some financials. You can see great growth from 2018 and profitable operations. Strong gross margins, EBITDA margins. The headcount at the end of June was 53. With the acquisition of Savsu, we're closer to 80 right now. So our mission is to become a leading supplier of best-in-class cell and gene therapy bioproduction tools serving this specific industry. This is the product portfolio. Starting in the upper left, we've got the preservation media products. Many of you know the brand names of Cryostor and Hypothermosol. Earlier this year, we acquired Estero Bio, so we picked up the Thyristor product line, the automated thawing products. And more recently in August, we acquired the rest of Savsu Technologies that we didn't own and picked up the EVO, that's EVO cold chain technologies and information system. And I'll talk about all these products in a moment. Our plan for success and how we're going to keep growing is to focus on growing the core media franchise. We're going to scale our internal production and externally to meet demand, continue to acquire complementary and novel bioproduction tools to solve more customer problems. We're going to leverage our relationships to cross-sell the entire portfolio into this space. And we're going to make additional strategic investments in early-stage tools developers, two I'll talk about in a minute. Through the first half of the year, revenue was up 39%. We made 2 acquisitions and made 2 investments. I'm really happy to say, and thank you for those in the room that are in this last point, nearly 50% of the presenting companies at this conference are using our preservation media. So thank you for support. I don't really need to say this slide. All of us in the room know this dynamic and what we're up to here in cell and gene therapy and the growth in the space, the number of clinical trials, the funding. It's a high-growth environment. And what we're seeing is that this customer base is rewarding companies like BioLife who can provide innovative tools that can de-risk manufacturing, storage, and distribution. And it's really all about de-risking the potential to deliver a non-viable dose. We should talk a bit about the really important emerging dynamic on reimbursement. It's evolving into a pay-for-response or a pay-on-cure situation where, if there's reduced therapeutic impact or effect, we're risking the economic reimbursement. So really strong indirect and direct drivers to use the best tools to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, backing up a little bit, the so what kind of slide with biopreservation challenges throughout the entire manufacturing and storage and distribution workflow. So CAR-T and other cell and gene therapies must be kept alive and viable so they can actually elicit the desired therapeutic effect. So it's really a race against time, and it's all about how many cells can survive, what kind of shape are they in, and what kind of functional recovery do they have once they get to the patient before administration. So there are 3 really pillars of risk that I'll speak to that all can reduce biologic potency. And these are poor or suboptimal preservation, temperature excursions, and also mechanical shock, which can render the cells dead on arrival. You've all seen this vein-to-vein or needle-to-needle workflow. This is our particular rendition of this, and we're looking to integrate into many more sockets or points to integrate into the customer workflow in their applications. Starting at the left with the acquisition of source material, you can see we have opportunities to provide preservation media. Once that source material is collected, there's a shipping interval, so the EVO platform comes in. Once it arrives at the manufacturing facility, that's this customer base here, and manufacturing is underway. If it arrived frozen, there's a thawing opportunity with Thyristor. Once it's manufactured, there's another preservation interval with preservation media to get that stuff frozen down, followed by another shipping interval with the EVO platform. Once it arrives at the clinic, again, another thawing opportunity with Thyristor. The M&A activity is ongoing, and hopefully within the next few quarters, you'll see more from us about how we're doing that and bolting on additional tools that can solve more problems throughout this workflow. Very happy to share this marquee customer base. This is a subset of our customers that are using preservation media. A few of these are EVO customers and also the Thyristor platform. So again, for those of you in the room, thank you very much for your support. We've also done a really good job getting the products integrated and supported at the CMOs and CDMOs in the space, and also at the influential clinical centers. I'd like to draw your attention to, on the master file side with preservation media, this is the best direct confirmation that we have that customers intend to use our products in clinical applications. So you can see the growth in master file cross-reference requests over the last few years. We're on pace this year to meet or exceed the number from last year. All right, a little bit about the media. So hypothermosol, this is a storage and shipping media used to protect cells in a 2 to 8C shipping or storage environment. Hypothermosol is serum-free, protein-free, AOF. We're trying to source the highest available quality of ingredients, and again, supported by the US FDA master file. You can see in the picture on the right side of the slide that we can formulate and fill this into bags, bottles, vials, whatever you need to integrate into your particular workflow. So hypothermosol was engineered by Dr. A.B. Matthew and some colleagues many years ago to protect cells and tissues from preservation-induced injury. It does a really good job against a broad array of cell and tissue types and enabling multiple days of storage. CryoStor is the companion freeze media product. Again, very similar, serum-free, protein-free, AOF, the same quality system, quality ingredients. All the products are made in Bothell in a GMP facility. The quality system is certified ISO 13485. We also draw from the other sort of relevant sections of a 210, 211 in the US and EU guidances for sterile medicinal product use, controlled clean room environments, and things of that nature. So CryoStor is formulated to mitigate, again, preservation-induced injury in a frozen environment, and it does a really good job. Speaking of how we can prove that, so on our website today, there's an evidence page. And you can see now, if you were to go there, you could type in a cell type or any other search terms, and you'll find over 400 clinical papers, abstracts, posters, and whatnot. This evidence list has been growing quite nicely over the years. You know, when we started this gig, 15 years ago, there were really no customers, no evidence, a really tough sell, if you will, to convince cell and gene therapy developers not to use these homebrew cocktails, which they learned or they were taught when they were in school. And thankfully, you know, over a heavy lift and a lot of conferences and a lot of hard work, we've been able to convince a number of these developers to switch and to optimize and obviously to enjoy improved results. Turning to our M&A strategy, so in August of last year, we started to articulate a plan to identify and start to acquire some bolt-on complementary products, which we thought would be a great way to increase our share of the spend for tools and also to solve additional problems with customers. Again, all related to de-risking, to improve manufacturing and delivery, again, with the desired therapeutic effect and the economic reward for doing so. We believe that the supplier base is very fragmented, and once you get past the top 5 or 6 companies who are quite large enterprises, there's a lot of opportunity for us to roll up some additional companies. So far this year, we acquired Estero Bio in April. Again, the automated thaw products with the Thyristor brand. We paid $12.5 million in cash, and there's a potential revenue earnout through 2021. In August, we closed the remainder of SAVSU Technologies. That's cloud connecting smart shipping containers and the Evo IS. And we did that for 1.1 million shares of BioLife. The all-in capital for SAVSU from us is about $35 million. A little more about Estero. Again, back in April, based in Menlo Park. There were 4 people that came over. Sam Kent, who's in the room here, and his colleagues did a great job taking the old BioCision, then MedCision IP, and continuing to develop. And we were just waiting for an inflection point, and we saw that, so we decided to make that happen. Key customers are listed here on the slide. I'll tell you about the products in a minute. We expect $1 to $2 million in revenue from the automated thaw products for 2019. This is the Thyristor product line. And these products provide consistent and accurate thawing of frozen therapeutics to de-risk, again, the possibility of delivering a non-viable dose. The competition is water baths with their inherent risk of contamination and overheating. On the left side, you can see the vial format, which has a number of different variations in that side of the family to accommodate different size vials. And on the right, this is the Thyristor CB to accommodate bags of various form factors and volumes. And we're on track for the Q4 launch of Thyristor CB before the end of this year. So look for some more news about that in the coming weeks. Really happy to say that the narrative that we thought was going to happen, our ability to cross-sell and to leverage relationships, did happen. So in Q2, that was the first full quarter of Thyristor operations. We gained 39 new customers. Thankfully, though, about 70% of those were already existing media customers, so that's working. We found the right decision makers. We're telling the story. We're leveraging our relationships, our corporate credibility and reputation, and that's working. Got a strong sales funnel and building some additional reference customers and case studies. All right, turning to Savsu, again, as I mentioned, we acquired the rest of Savsu in August of 2019. Savsu is based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a leading developer and supplier of these next-generation cold chain management tools and shipping containers. The brand name is Evo. These are cloud-connected shipping containers. And the Evo IS, that's the cloud application. It's a SaaS application to track and trace and a live cell visibility platform. Savsu has a very differentiated go-to-market strategy, which I'll talk about in a minute, but they had decided, and we're continuing on, to partner with rather than compete with the specialty couriers. So we simply want to enable companies in this space to have access to the technology and getting that through the couriers, and we want to make sure that we can provide great end-user support for evaluations and validations. Some early adopters we've been able to disclose on the Evo platform are on the bottom of the slide here, and again, if anybody in the room works for one of these companies, thanks again. So the Evo cold chain shipping family covers the entire temperature range. So starting at the left side, we have the dry vapor shippers, the DVS family, running at minus 196 with liquid nitrogen. Different form factors to accommodate different payloads and also to provide different amounts of dynamic thermal performance for the payloads and number of days. We have minus 80 in the middle here with dry ice. This is what Avexis is using to ship the Zolgensma therapy with. In the middle there at 2 to 8C, we have some devices or products that use conditioned cold packs. The can here is really innovative. This is a doer, but it doesn't use liquid nitrogen. This uses conditioned cold packs, and it's meant specifically to transport apheresis collections and do that in a way with improved dynamic performance, reduced risk of breakage, and so on and so forth. And then finally at the right, while not very commonly used in this space, there's the Evo platform with cold packs that operate in a controlled room environment, or 15 to 25C. All the products here are smart. They're connected to the cloud. They have GPS, Wi-Fi, cellular communication, so they can transmit their physical location and a number of parameters about the payload to the cloud application. And I'll show you a screenshot of that in a moment. So a little bit more about the dry vapor shipper advantages. So the DVS line was the first doer designed specifically for cell and gene therapy payloads in its form factor and some other attributes. This provides extended dynamic thermal performance. And what do I mean by that? When you tip a doer over, it starts to leak and vent, and the number of days it can keep the payload cold enough starts to be reduced. So through a number of innovations and some that are patent pending, we've got a great integrated design that can prevent that from happening and provide extended thermal performance in a dynamic environment. Again, when they are tipped on their side, which happens often during shipping when they're in the hold of an airplane or even on a truck for that matter. So the Evo dry vapor shippers have improved form factor, smaller, lighter, the ergonomics for handling, no pallet required. They fit all aircraft cargo holds, including on regional jets. There's a reduced elemental recharge time, which is significant from the actual operations. There are a number of improved payload extractors and a very cool integrated system of shock absorbing technologies, both internally and externally, which can reduce the risk of bag breakage due to shock during transit. And this is the system right here. So you can see starting at the left, you've got the disposable outer carton. The middle piece here is a very cool wheeled cart right here, which is reusable. The doer goes inside that, and you have extractors, and then you have secondary packaging here. Again, all meant to work as a system to reduce the possibility of a damaged payload, which would be rendering cells useless, and again, the whole therapeutic and economic disaster which would occur from that. So this system is really being received very well by a number of leading cell and gene therapy developers. And again, we've got a number of folks at the company who are here, so if you want to talk about this later, after my talk, we'll be at the booth. Okay, a couple of screenshots from the Evo IS. This is the cloud application. You can see you'd simply log in and you can manage shipments. You can see a history of shipments. If you drill into any one, you're obviously going to see a lot of detail about the shipment. For example, here you can see the physical location. You can pick a parameter, whether it's payload temperature, ambient temperature, shock, vibration, humidity, whatever you might be interested in looking at, and obviously set limits and then set alerts that would go to the various stakeholders in the distribution chain to be alerted if something is amiss or that a geofence was tripped and the package is about to be arrived, so you can prep the patient and improve your administration and operations. I mentioned a little bit about this, so again, rather than trying to compete with the couriers, we're really all about trying to partner with the couriers. We all know who they are: World Courier, Mark and Quick. and a number of others. And really, we just want to supply the technology to this industry through these courier partners. We're not interested in building depots around the world and having the OpEx cost to get the doers, clean them, recharge them, so on and so forth. Our courier partners have that entire infrastructure existing today. We're just looking to leverage that. In the meantime, every time they have a customer who's interested, we're doing a lot of very highly personalized tech support and scientific support to help them validate and then move to an adoption decision. So that's working really well. Throughout the first 7 or 8 months of the year, more than 1,000 shipments have been completed with Evo. Really proud about that, and they're going all over the world. Okay, a little bit about this other arm of our M&A strategy, which is to make investments in early-stage tools companies. We've done 2 so far. We're partnering with Kasdan Capital, who's a large BioLife shareholder, to identify and screen the investment opportunities. The first 2 we announced a couple of weeks ago are Sexton Biotechnologies. You might remember Cook Regentech. That's that company and that IP. We made an equity investment in there for an 18% share. And Avexol, which is Rod Reitz and Michael Green's company, a very cool, novel, high-yield viral vector production technology to do that at higher yields and lower cost and faster time. So excited about both of these companies. I am out of time. I'll talk a little bit about financials. Everything's going fine. Great growth this year. Again, a public company, you can read that. A little bit about guidance. We're looking at about 40 to 55% revenue growth in the top line this year, slight increase in gross margin, full year positive for operating profit, net income, and adjusted EBITDA. Here's the cap table. I won't bore you with that. We've got an experienced management team. Overall investment thesis, pure play picks and shovels. That's what BioLife is. We're not a therapeutics play. Growing strongly, enabling this customer base to develop their cell and gene therapies. The key growth catalyst, the pay on cure or pay for response, is a real driver here that we're looking to leverage and benefit from. A great customer base. The M&A strategy is going fine, and we're looking for, again, additional cross-selling opportunities to solve more customer problems. With that, I should probably stop and not take into the next speaker's time. Thank you very much. We're around if you have questions. Have a good rest of the day.